Hey, hello. Welcome to episode number 52 of the People We Love podcast. I am Adam Choit. What's up? So this week's something that I love is extension cords. That wire not long enough to reach the outlet? Not a problem. Grab an extension cord. Anyway, for more about this podcast, check out peoplewelovepodcast.com. That's peoplewelovepodcast.com. And the Instagram handle is peoplewelovepodcast. And you can find me on Instagram as well, Adam Choit, my name, if you want to follow me too. And remember to tap subscribe or follow on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. And of course, 5-star positive reviews on iTunes are greatly appreciated as well. So, today's guest is film and television production accountant and someone who also happens to be my sister, Samara Choit. She was just in town visiting Los Angeles from the East Coast and was gracious enough to take the time. We decided for her to talk about her very special relationship with our maternal grandparents, Sam and Lotte Robinson. Lotte was, of course, the subject of my very first episode of this podcast and talked about Sam. So from Long Island to Buffalo State College to California and back to the East Coast, we cover a lot. Art, the entertainment industry, and Samara's pretty recent bout with a brain tumor. She's okay now, thank God. And of course, we talk about our sibling relationship, but this one's really all about Sam Robinson and Lotte Robinson, our grandparents. So let's just do it. Here's Samara Choit. So it's good to see you today, Samara Choit. Thank you for dropping by the studio.
No problem.
How's your day going?
My day's going pretty good. Good.
So you're out in California visiting?
I'm visiting, yep.
That's cool. For how long?
It's about 4 days.
Today's actually Christmas we're recording this on. I'm planning on putting this out this weekend, so we don't have plans because we're not Christians.
We are not. We are Jews all the way, baby.
Whatever that means.
Whatever
we're not that religious though.
We aren't, no. But we were bar mitzvah.
Bar mitzvah. So you're out here visiting, I guess, me, but also our grandmother, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
And we're going to talk about her in a little bit. And she was, of course, the guest for episode 1 of this podcast, and she talked about my grandfather.
Yes.
So we're going to get into talking about your life and some of your life stuff, career stuff, and your relationship with our grandparents.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Sounds fun. So why don't we get into it? What do you remember about being born and the drive home from the hospital?
Nothing. I was a child.
You were a child? You weren't even a child. You were an infant.
I was an infant. I don't remember anything. I was, a week old? How do I remember
You don't remember the drive home?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Did you drive home?
Yeah, I drove.
Or did mom and dad drive home?
I would assume dad drove.
You passed your license on the first test when you got your driver's license.
I did.
Right? Yeah,
I did.
Me too.
At Apollo Hills High School West.
Yeah, I took it at St. Anthony's. I used to joke that I had Jesus behind the wheel because I took driver's ed at St. Anthony's, the high school.
No, we did it. I did it.
You did at our school.
Yeah.
I did at the Catholic school because I was like younger and excited to drive. What are your earliest memories of Sammy and Lotte? Like, what do you remember, even from being like 3, 4, 5 years old?
I remember a lot. I remember when we lived in East Meadow and we would go to the Prospect Park, I believe, and we would swim and we would always we would hang out. And I remember going. Yeah,
they lived in Queens.
They lived in Queens,
Long Island,
and we would go to Broadway shows, and they would come to graduations. When you graduated elementary school, when I graduated elementary school, they were always around. Whether they was she was sewing or he was painting.
It seemed like every weekend we saw them, or
every week.
Either they'd come to us or we'd go to them.
Yeah, and we would sleep over. I remember bringing friends of mine to like sleep over with us because they were fun with the studio, the photography, and she would sew, and everyone wanted to hang out with her.
Our friends knew our grandparents too.
They did.
That's something that kind of stayed constant. I think even throughout our childhood, even when we were young,
I agree.
5, 6, 7 years old, our friends kind of knew our grandparents, and then even older into middle school, high school, and college.
Yeah.
Our friends still kind of knew our grandparents.
Yeah.
What I remember is sleeping over. I think the first time our parents took us to Lotte and Sam's to sleep over, we got scared and wanted to go home.
Didn't Dad come pick us up?
Yeah, they had to pick us up. I think it was you. I don't think it was me. Who,
Oh, I wasn't. Was I not listening or crying? Or I said I was being mean?
No, it was I think we were just scared and didn't want to be home and didn't like being there and wanted
No, but I think we were crying or we were.
Yeah, we were upset. We were like probably.
And Lottie called Mom and said, "You got to get these kids, or I'm gonna get or kill them."
Yeah, something like that because we didn't want to be away from home. We were scared. I don't know. I think it was you.
That's weird because
I'll get the details of this. I think it was you who was afraid. There's other times when I was afraid and caused drama, but that was the only time that if I recall, Mom and Dad telling us that we ever like had to come home or anything, that we didn't want to be there. Like the next 700 times we were fine.
Yeah, maybe it was me.
It probably was you.
Whoops.
Yeah, so we would do tons of stuff at their house. They had like an attached house in Queens. I'm going to describe a little bit for.
I remember the backyard. I remember the neighbors. She knew
dog.
Everyone. They had a dog?
Mimi. Mimi was the dog next door.
Oh yeah, was it Jeannie's dog? Jeannie?
Mimi? Jeannie?
Mimi? No, Jeannie. Didn't she?
I don't know.
Oh, Jean?
That sounds right.
Something like that. It rhymed some
Yeah,
way.
Jeannie's dog was Mimi? Or was Mimi a
I
different...
remember she would be by the gates in the backyard and we'd always go petting it. But it was like trapped because it was in the backyard.
You know what's weird? I remember kind of like being afraid of that dog and not seeing.
Well, you always were afraid of the dogs. You were like freaked out. You would always like back away when you. They wanted to be pet, but you were like.
And then the dogs get more afraid and more aggressive and whatever when you show your own nerves.
But it was a nice dog. You were just we didn't have a dog, so you were a little bit afraid. So you were a little freaked out.
But I remember like not seeing the dog for a while, and then like maybe like later in high school or in college, like coming back to visit the house and seeing that dog and be like, that dog is fucking a little tiny dog that's not scary at all. That wasn't a tiny dog, but it wasn't a big dog.
No,
I don't remember what
it
kind
wasn't
of
like
dog.
a Chihuahua or
No,
like
it was
a
bigger
little
than a Chihuahua, but it was smaller than like a fucking German Shepherd. It was like it was a medium-sized dog that was not intimidating at all.
No,
fuck that dog though.
That's mean.
That dog's dead now.
Oh my
that dog
God.
is like 30 years old now, if it was still alive.
Adam, that's mean.
No, I like Mimi. R.I.P.
Yeah, you sure sound like you.
I'm going to see Mimi in heaven. No, Mimi was a cool dog. But yeah, Sammy had a black room or dark room in the basement.
And we did photography.
Paint. She sewed.
Yeah.
You would dance in the basement.
Always dancing. You couldn't stop. Well, I couldn't stop.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could even tell me some of the memories, like, 5, 6 specific things that you may remember about Sammy or Lottie individually from that time period. Like, I remember seeing you would dance with Sammy all the time and put on different outfits.
Oh, God.
And with the cane,
because she would sew and she would teach me how to sew. So I remember she made, when I was in high school, she made my prom dress. And when I was young, she would make my graduation dresses. And she would try to teach me how to use the actual machine.
You never learned, though.
I never really learned. Like, I would sit next to her and I would sort of like, she would show me and I would do a little stitching, after she would stop and she would start and I would go in between. But I never really followed through with it. But I helped her.
Yeah.
So I would dance in the basement, do the photography. I was all over the place.
I tried to not step on pins that were on the floor.
Yeah, because there
would be pins.
I know, all over.
Everywhere.
Because she would put it in her mouth when she tried to, she would put it in one of her mouth and she would, try to put a safety pin.
But she would be sewing in one corner of that basement and on the other corner we would be either painting
and I remember the doors to
get
get into the actual machine. It was kind of like a little own separate room, a tiny room. More like a closet.
A nook.
A little nook, yeah.
It was like a nook.
But there were 2 chairs because I would sit next to her and we would watch the TV that was directly across. Do you remember?
Yeah, I love that basement.
Me too.
If you look over my right shoulder, you'll see paintings of objects from that basement.
I know. I have it too in my place in New Jersey.
Yeah, Mitch Holloman was commenting about Sammy's painting of the basement objects episode, whatever that was.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. I look at them every day. Even the black and whites.
I mean, what did you enjoy maybe the most of all the activities that we did? Like, is there anything that stood out? Was it the painting? Was it the photography? Was it the walks to 7-Eleven that we would go to?
Honestly, the 7-Eleven walks were really exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was really fun. I mean, I did love the painting and the jewelry because she would always buy jewelry and she would make jewelry. And I remember she made earrings, didn't she do?
We were just very active and creative.
Like, she bought stones But for some reason, I don't know why the 7-Eleven really, I remember going to 7-Eleven, we would get treats that we didn't get when we were growing up.
That was it. Of course, like good grandparents, they will buy you the things and the treats and
Right.
the food and the candy and the cookies and the junk cereal that our parents
Right.
would not buy. So that was
Right.
always such a
Right.
such
Like
a treat.
7-Eleven
And
was like a big treat. Like I can get, Kit Kat or like,
Candy.
Junkie cereals and Lucky Charms. And I remember that because when we grew up, Adam, I think we didn't really have much junk food. Is that wrong to say?
I'd have to fight for it.
Oh, we'd have to hide it? Is that wrong to say?
Well, no, mom would have to hide cookies from me because I would eat all the cookies in one day because I
Right.
have no self-control. But they wouldn't really buy junk cereals. They never really
No.
overdid it with the snacks.
No.
It was,
But why did it felt like it was like something?
I always felt like
secretive?
compared to our friends that we had probably less good unhealthy snacks.
With Lottie?
No, with our parents.
Oh.
With our grandparents, they would buy us everything. But I remember the one time, of course, this is like almost obligatory for us to tell this story, is when we went into the 7-Eleven and Sammy drove us there and he went inside to the store. And there's still some debate about this.
I know
this
what you're
story.
going to say.
Is that,
I do know what you're
he
gonna
was hard of hearing. He lost his hearing in the army or whatever. So we sent him in, and you're going to say to get
These words,
Kit Kats.
they do not rhyme.
They don't rhyme, but they're
Right.
similar. So, and
Yes.
I think we asked him to get Tic Tacs. I know we were just kids, but we probably ate chocolate at the house 10 minutes earlier. So we're like,
Can I say what he brought back?
What he what?
What he brought back instead of the
Of course, that's why I'm
Tic
telling this story. Like we asked for Tic Tacs, and he brought back.
Tacs. Kit Kat.
Yeah, he misheard us, and I think we basically
I always remember this.
we ate the Kit Kats anyway.
Well, yeah, it was chocolate.
What's important is that we got back
Why
something
is
that
it
we
so
liked.
funny?
We didn't. I remember we didn't send him back in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was hard of
I
hearing.
remember we were in the Toyota Camry across from. We were in the car.
I think they always had a Toyota.
We were going
Camry.
back to Long Island, or I guess we were.
I don't remember where the fuck we were going.
We were traveling back to Long Island, and we got like a car snack on the.
I don't remember
Yes,
those details.
that I feel like it kind of.
I'll believe you. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, because we were going on in the car.
But I remember Sammy, of
Maybe.
course, being hard of hearing.
I know every night.
Of course, he's since passed away in 2008, and Lottie's still alive, 99. I'm sure I'll put all this in the intro if I.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time I'm going to be mentioning this, but I remember in their house in Queens, they had the loud doorbell. A super loud doorbell.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the?
I do.
It was one of those doorbells where you would hold it, and it would keep ringing like a loud.
You literally need to touch it for a second, and it blows up.
It would,
like
I can't really. It's just like a loud ringing, dinging, and it would be continuous if you held the door.
it's almost like you have a fire. It's so loud.
Yeah, it sounded like an emergency, basically, or someone
Well, I
scored
think
a,
it was supposed to.
scored a
in
goal
way.
in a hockey game. Yeah, I mean it was the hard of hearing doorbell. It woke up the dead.
TVs were always loud too. Also, they would make the TV when we used to watch in her bedroom all the time. I'm like, holy shit! It's so fucking loud. Like,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
gonna go down.
obviously Grandma's older now, and the TVs are even louder now. But it was loud when she was,
Right.
they were on the younger side
yeah, that's true.
for sure. And what about as we started to get a little older and like maybe 10, 11, 12, I guess going through elementary school and middle school.
Right.
What do you remember? I guess nothing really changed that much.
I mean, we saw them. They were like very.
we're
much-
always
we were always hanging out with them all the time. They would come to the house and they would swim, and we'd hang out with them all the time. Maybe we didn't sleep over as much as we did when we were in elementary
Yeah.
school and younger. But then again,
they would come to see us, and there was always
we would
some
go
kind
to
of
dinner.
event.
They would come for the weekends, or we would go there for the weekends.
Yeah.
We would still celebrate the holidays, and we'd still see them all the time.
No, we did.
Someone's birthday, someone's anniversary, right?
No, it was always there was always something.
Something.
Even up until
Maybe I did. Did we have sleepovers there when I was in middle school? Because I remember.
I think so. I mean,
Right?
I would go to more Mets games. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Just with Sammy. I think
And
just
we
us
went to
two, even into
Broadway-
high school and college and beyond.
Yeah, and I remember
bit.
going to Broadway shows. I probably was in middle school, maybe even high school, ninth grade. We would go to a lot of shows.
Yeah, into
we
the
saw
city.
Miss Saigon. We saw Crazy for You. We saw Cats. We saw.
I mean, I feel like it's worth noting that we also had special relationships with our grandparents individually.
Yes.
There would be things that you would just do with Lottie. There would be things that you would just do with Sammy.
Right.
There would be things that I would just do with Sammy. Obviously now just Lottie's around, so everything I do is just with her. But
Right.
more so then,
Right.
we would do things with with
Right.
them too separately.
Right.
But that was fun. Those were the days.
I know.
Those were the days. So
That's for sure.
what about when you went to college? Did Sammy and Lottie ever visit you at Buffalo State?
They did. I think. Didn't they come? Oh, they didn't come to my graduation for some reason. But I think
They like me more. No, they didn't come to my graduation. Did they?
I think
No.
when I came back to Long Island after, I think we all went.
You did something. Did they ever visit you though? You don't remember. That's far.
Maybe we still. I feel like
They were also already in because our grandparents, of course, moved to. They spent part of the year
when did they
in Florida.
move?
They
Right.
tried the Florida thing part of the year.
But
and
we
then he did
went to Florida.
California.
You and me, we went to Florida to Leisure World. Not Leisure World. Their house in. When did they live in Florida? We both went.
It was the late 90s. It must have been the late 90s.
Late 90s.
Because they moved to
Were we?
California, or maybe it was even earlier, mid 90s, because they were doing Florida, because they were doing California part of the
Right,
time
and then
before they
half
did
in
full
Flushing.
time. I don't remember if they moved full time after 9/11/01 or whether they were already or that
they
was
were
part time.
already-
They're already part time by the time.
Yeah, but they did
9/11.
half a year in Florida and then Sarasota, I believe, and then half
Yeah.
a year back in.
Yeah, there were a couple of places in
Queens.
Florida they tried, but yeah, no, that.
But then
that-
they ended up obviously
the
in
full
California.
time in Orange County in Southern California,
Right.
and
So
that's
they've
where
done a lot, living here, living there, traveling
yeah, they were
everywhere.
world travelers.
Hardcore.
As my grandma mentioned, of course, in episode 1, which you can go back and listen to anytime.
about
I'll put a
100
link to that.
times, yeah.
in the
She's
show
been
notes.
everywhere, but Philippines and two other
Every continent. Just
every
basically.
continent,
And she tells us about it every time we
multiple times.
we see her. So she never. So then you don't remember them visiting you in college. But what about? Do you remember your relationship with Sammy and Lottie? Did you talk to them on the phone a lot?
I talk to them on the phone all the time.
We're
You
all-
need anything? How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would call them all the time, and if I didn't call them for a week, they'd call me. I don't remember the conversations we had, but obviously I wouldn't let a month go by and not talk to them. Whether obviously,
Yeah.
that would just not be right.
If it was, it's just because probably we were going through some shit that we were dealing with, and we were avoiding everyone. And
Well, I
being-
mean, it's college. Who's not
Yeah.
getting into trouble
Yeah,
or
we're-
avoiding their family? Let's
Yeah.
be real.
yeah.
There's always some shit going on.
Of course. But yeah, we kept in touch and always had. There was never. I can't even remember a time where I was actually had a fight with Lottie or Sammy to the point where we were mad at each other for more than fucking an hour or some shit like that.
Yeah,
I can't remember like being mad at Sammy or them being mad at us for more than like.
Well, what were they
couple
ever
of-
mad?
Yeah, for when we were little kids and acting up, that's different. But like into
Thinking.
our adult years or into like middle school, high school, like
Right.
like having like some kind of like that's parents shit. People who gets into fights with their grandparents. I feel like either you have a good relationship with your grandparents,
Or you don't talk to them. Or there's no relationship. There's no
relationship.
communication.
Yeah.
Just there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's
So
nothing.
we're definitely lucky in that regard that we had 4 grandparents live into their 80s and 2 of them or 3 of them live into their
I know.
90s and beyond.
I mean, it's crazy that she's 99.
Yeah, and of course this.
I mean-
yeah, go on.
99.
Yeah, 99. No, she's doing all right though for a 99-year-old woman. Like she's
Yeah.
pretty sharp and with it and knows everyone's names and yeah, the short-term memory, is not the best, but 99, she's in better shape than half the people in her retirement community who are 10, 15, 20 years younger,
Yeah,
which is
definitely.
amazing in itself. And of course, recording this podcast talking about Lottie and Sammy is no slight to our other grandparents.
Right.
My
Definitely.
father's grandparents, Irving and Paula, and I'll probably do some kind of episode about them,
Right.
as well as some episode about our parents,
Right.
whether talking to them or about them or at some point.
Definitely.
So there's time for everyone.
Right. Everyone's part of the family.
Yeah, I'm
it's
not
not
trying-
just us two and
Yeah.
one pair of grandparents or
Yeah,
however you want to.
there's time for everything.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's all good in that regard. And what about college and beyond? Do you remember as far as like your relationship? Because they were in California pretty much at that point. You were in Long Island for a little
For
bit,
about a year.
and then came to California.
And then I came to California after I graduated Buff State. I moved in Long Island, moved home, and then saved.
And you worked for the LA Philharmonic. You said.
Yeah. I'd help them with selling tickets and dealing with that.
Sales.
Not for very long, basically sales.
Yeah.
And then I worked there for about like 9 months, and then I moved to California.
Then that's when you start to get more into production.
Yeah, that's when I started
accounting.
to get into more production and fell into entertainment and starting as a clerk in accounting, working on some movies.
And you enjoyed being in entertainment?
I did.
Yeah. What are your favorite kind of productions to work on? Was it movies, was it reality or TV, or does it even matter? Is it more about the people you're working with?
It's about the people that you work with for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's cool.
I mean, I'm not like you. I'm not the creative sibling, but behind dealing with vendors and accounts payable. So I don't really see anything.
It's all necessary to keep things moving along in production.
That's
for sure.
Right. I remember I worked on NCIS, and that made me happy.
Because you're working with who?
Oh, cool, Jay.
Yeah. Every day on set. No, but you met him.
I
Yeah.
did.
There's the
He
picture.
signed his biography for me because I read it. I got it in middle school, his bio, and I was so excited. He hugged me. I said I was a big fan, and
So that was the first time you'd met him?
that was the first time I met
You'd seen
him.
him perform, but you never met him.
I never
personally.
met him, and he hugged me, and I was very grateful.
And he signed the book
He signed the book that I bought,
in middle school.
and I think it was middle school.
And you told him that you got this from
Yeah, and he was very shocked that I had the book. I remember he was shocked that I had the book.
That's cool.
And he signed it and said thanks for being here and helping out and hugged me. And I took a picture with him, and I looked so nervous because I was like so happy and
I
excited.
didn't notice that you were nervous.
I
but
did. I was
from the
so excited, and I just secretly loved him.
Yeah. Did you tell Lottie about this? You don't know who LL Cool J is?
No,
Or Sammy? No.
it was a fun show to work on temporarily.
Yeah.
And then I moved around for other shows, and then I moved to California.
Yeah, I was already here a year
And
before
you were
you,
here.
and they were here.
And then I lived with my brother
Yeah.
for about
Yeah, don't do that. The year, 1 year, 364 days too long. No,
And
that was okay. I mean, the best part of living with you was
Right.
that Lottie and Sammy were close, so we could visit
That's true.
when we were hanging out and not at our apartment together.
Yeah.
Was probably the best. time.
No, we did our own thing. We lived together. We had our own separate
No, it
friends.
was-
So we had friends that were
You were, put it this way, you were by far not my worst roommate. I may have been your worst
thanks.
roommate. No, I'm just saying because I've had a lot of roommates, and
Well,
you were.
I
were
didn't.
not-
I always
you-
had good.
Yeah, you were fine.
Fine.
You were fine.
Just fine. I'm responsible. I'm on time.
Yeah.
I organize.
Yeah. No, you're clean and easy to deal with in that regard. But you're fucking temperamental, fucking pain in the ass to deal with in that regard,
How
or can be.
do you figure?
This is not about our roommate relationship
Okay.
from a decade ago.
yeah, you
or
probably.
whatever.
I think you threw
Fucking-
something at me one time. There was a fight or some shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm assuming there was.
Okay. Well.
But yeah, so anyway, we can get back to the topic at hand.
Okay. Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
So we would drive down to Lottie and Sammy. They're about
We did.
an hour. We lived in Los Angeles, and I'm still in Los Angeles, of course.
All right.
So we would drive down to Irvine area, Laguna Woods, where they live in the.
They lived there for how many years now? She's been there for like
20 years.
20? I thought 25. No.
Well, they were part time. We were saying so. It's got to be around 20. I'm sure she knows that figure. She won't know like if she had lunch today.
No, it's been
but she'll
more
tell
than
you
20.
exactly how many fucking years and days she's been in that place.
Yeah.
So yeah, we used to drive down there, and kind of like the same stuff continued. We would, I guess.
Didn't we go to like a performing arts show there? Because they
Yeah,
had,
I mean, we I don't think
we did pool. You and Sammy used
yeah, we
to
played
do
pool, Sammy, and we didn't really maybe do.
And there was a
paint.
pool. We would do like was there an indoor and outdoor pool? I can't
I think
remember.
it was just the outdoor pools. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we would swim. I mean, we didn't paint and do photography as much ourselves, but Sammy was still painting and doing photography pretty much up until he passed away. And but we would go to the beach. Obviously, that was that was kind of I mean, we would do with the grandparents and grandchildren thing,
Yeah.
but in Southern California, so we would go to beaches and
Right.
Madison Square Cafe.
Oh,
and,
yeah, she
and
loved the
Laguna Beach, which is
cafe.
no more, of course. Rest in peace.
Yeah. It's a new
Art shows,
Oh
out
yeah.
to eat.
Yeah.
Obviously, we would go to casinos.
Oh, she still Oh my
Yeah.
God, she went there a few weeks ago. She told me.
If you were wondering if
She's
the
like
elderly
$100 is
yeah.
my limit. I try to stiff.
The elderly love slot machines.
Yeah, she loves it.
It's not a cliche. It's not a stereotype. Well, it is, but
She loves it. Just
yeah. But
Keeps her
she's
going.
reasonable with it.
She always liked it. In Vegas, we used to go to Vegas, Adam. You remember?
Lose all my
She took
inheritance.
us to Vegas when we lived in California. Didn't we go? We were wheeling her in the wheelchair. You remember?
Dude, I don't know if we ever.
Yes.
Did we? Just me and the four of us? We went out with our whole
Oh,
family
maybe it was,
thing. It was a whole
our
family
parents
thing more
went
recently.
too. She loved the Vegas.
But obviously,
also.
a big thing that our family did over the years was go on cruises together. We were
Oh,
lucky
my
enough
God.
where our grandparents, could afford to take. We didn't have a huge we don't have a huge family, but it was very nice, and we appreciate that we were able to go on some cruises to Alaska, to the Caribbean, to Mexico,
Bermuda.
to a bunch of them over the years, and those are always fun.
Super fun.
From your family during the day and get into trouble at night.
That's for sure.
And whatnot. So those are great memories.
Yeah, those
with
were
both
fun.
of our grandparents,
Definitely.
of course.
She had fun. She had a lot of fun.
And yeah, one thing I always kind of like think about, as I got into my 20s and 30s and beyond, is the relationship with Lottie and Sammy. I realized that I saw them less and less just as grandparents, and I've told them this in various anniversary speeches over the years that they're friends, that they're people I enjoy the company and that I see them as friends, and it's not just about they're my grandparents, and that's all they are, and
Right.
and I feel obligated to see them. I just see them as people and
Right.
things people I have things in common with, enjoy being around, and they're friends.
I agree.
I like them more than some of my real friends.
I hear you on that one.
Pain in the ass.
Believe me, I get
Yeah.
that.
That's okay. I like my friends too.
Sure you
I
do.
repeat myself to them as much as Lottie repeats herself to me
That's okay.
sometimes. So,
It's okay.
but yeah, it's been a fun ride, especially knowing that not all of our friends have
We're very lucky.
had relationships with their.
I mean,
their
we are very
grandparents like
lucky when
this.
you look at your friends and you look at, other people's lives, and a lot of people really had no grandparents or.
It's funny you say that because.
But it's true. I mean, it makes you think of what you do have, and we are, as cliche as it sounds, we are lucky that we have these parents who are so good to us and who are a big part of our lives. And since we were babies, since we were in, in elementary school and middle school, our whole lives till everything.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I don't even live in California anymore, but I still talk to her all the time, and I'm, happy to visit her and still talk about 20 years ago when we were growing up. Do you remember this? Do you remember that? Just to keep her mind going. I like to remember the childhood.
Yeah, and that's what she's kind of like, obviously, her mind is still, like we were saying, pretty damn sharp, but the things that she does repeat is basically what you were saying, just she repeats how appreciative she is of her life and all the family and friends that she's had over the years. And
So that's why we make some new memories. So she's fixated on something new because she keeps.
Well, she is still kind of making new memories in a sense, because she still always wants to take photographs, put them in the book.
True.
Look at the book, and then show you the book
She's
when you
got
visit.
64
64
books.
photo album, whatever it is. They're all numbered and organized.
They're
The books.
books.
Get book number
Do you want
37.
to see? No.
She'll snap her fingers. Get me book number 42 at once.
Like, Lottie, I've seen those books.
So
I've seen those.
it's funny because it kind of gets me thinking, like, you see all these people on the street and all of our friends and everybody like filming everything and taking photos of everything. Like, you think to yourself, who the fuck is going to look at this shit like 100 years from now? But if you have access to it and it's organized and you can get to it, like, that's like what Lottie is doing, is like watching, looking at memories from her life. And
they're in order.
Yeah.
Too. It is kind of like a movie if you think about it. I mean, it's in order.
It's a narrative. It's a story.
Okay, whatever you want
It's
to
a
call
story
it.
of her life, for sure.
Yeah. And everything is numbered and in order by dates and.
My iPhone photos are not nearly as organized as
Oh, mine
Lottie's
are.
books. It's a fucking epic disaster of.
Well, it's been her hobby her
Bad
whole
selfies.
life. I mean, even when she was younger or whatever you want to think, it was always, she loves going home from vacation. She loved the first thing she would do, get on the pictures and start with the book.
Yeah, no, she would.
Like, that was priority.
I think it still is priority because she
Well, it is.
drops off, I guess now you could pretty much get a quick turnaround at Costco or CVS with
Right.
photos. But I remember, like, her always, when are these going to be done? When can I have these?
She was
When will I get these by?
I know. It's like, you can make a picture. How long will it take? This
Yeah.
one. She's like, oh, you can print it? Like, when she first you started understanding the digital process and how she can get it so quickly. When can I? she was
maybe that makes sense that she was, married to a photographer and a painter and someone in the visual arts for so long, because she's someone who's so appreciative and just loves photographs. But she's more into.
But she also did some painting on her own. Do you remember?
Too.
No,
yeah, she paints also.
Yeah, she had one. I remember in Queens. She had it over the staircase. I can't remember what it was. Flowers, maybe.
She did a Japanese woman. She did it,
maybe,
or maybe not that one. But no, she's done a bunch of different paintings. There's paintings that she's done in her current house.
Yeah, there's a lot in the closet that there's no room for, so she just has it behind like the storage.
Yeah, no, every single wall of this woman's house is covered with paintings, photographs.
Her bedroom, the picture frames on the wall.
Picture frames.
See the painting on the wall because
there's no space. There's like frames are touching each other.
I know.
If you go to their house, there's the frames. I guarantee the frames will be touching each other.
They are
next to the other.
I looked over her. Yeah, they're. Yeah.
And then she's got a lot of masks and toys and marbles and
the masks kind of scare me a little bit.
Plants everywhere. It's like block. Her front entrance is like nearly blocked. You can't even get the wheelchair past.
I know.
Basically past.
You know what she says? She says some of it is junk, and she says, "I love my shit."
Yeah, she loves her junk. I get it. I'm like a.
I get it.
She's not a whore. I wouldn't call her a hoarder.
No.
But she
likes cheap shit.
She hoards. She hoards a little bit.
But it's organized and it's clean. It's not like there's shit on the floor.
No, it's clean. It's organized.
Yeah.
No, it's good. But I remember that. I was going to say that the type of photographs that she enjoys taking and looking at are more of like people and memories and events and things like that. Whereas Sammy's photographs are more obviously on the artistic side.
When you think about Sammy's paintings and his photography, I mean, he did so much work he started at 70, right?
He didn't paint until later on.
Yeah, like St. John, he took classes in New York.
I guess he'd been doing photography a lot longer than painting, because he bought the photo enlarger when they bought their house in 1949, 50, whatever the hell it was, and then the painting didn't come till later. But you were saying, yeah, he did a lot. Prolific.
Because if the paintings are in your place, in my place, in our parents' place, in Lottie's place,
and it's not like we all just have one.
And there's stuff in storage, and she's got in her closet. I have under my bed. You have probably stuff somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I have paintings.
And if you think about it, that's a shit ton of artwork.
Yeah, like it's funny because throughout my life, I've never really thought about like buying art ever.
Oh, really? I have. I've
never thought about buying art because I always knew that I would be able to find a photograph that Sammy did or a painting that Sammy did that I like and that would fit and or just be good for wherever I'm living at the time.
I agree.
I never walk I love art. I like to look at galleries and go to these things.
Me too.
And even if some art's not crazy expensive, I never really thought like, oh, I would like to have that in my place. I'd be like, no, I already have Sammy's paintings. I don't need that.
I get it. I get that.
I've been taking it for granted to some degree, but
it's interesting to live.
She's looking at the paintings that Sammy did right now in the apartment. Some of the ones that I have.
I am, because I remember all these. I remember this in your old apartment. I remember seeing all this since I lived in California.
A lot of these paintings are.
I remember that one was in her guest room, right?
That was in Lottie's painting. I took that. I grabbed that one recently. It's
I love
the painting
that.
of the paintbrush is just like a still life.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
This is like the fourth podcast episode where there's conversations about the paintings going on.
You should put some more going up the staircase. It's missing 2. You should put 2 more above this one.
Yeah, I thought about it. I'll get some more.
Yeah. 3 would make it.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah. I have to make it add some symmetry or some aesthetically pleasing look to my place here.
I love looking I love to look in the streets of architecture. I'm really into looking at art and going to museums these days.
Yeah.
I was when I was a kid, but now I really love looking at buildings and wood.
What about you doing photography? You've talked about doing something a little bit more formally.
Do I?
Like taking a class or like...
I would like to take a class.
Doing something with it?
Yeah. I started and then I stopped and I'll go back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do more painting.
Yeah,
or black and white or something.
Black and white painting?
No, black and white
photography?
Yeah.
Black and white painting too. Those are cool. Like a Rorschach test or whatever.
I don't know. I like looking at it.
Yeah. No, I like art. Art is cool. We're lucky to be part of a family that appreciates it and even produces it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I really do. I really am into the architecture and looking at, like I said, walking around New York and looking at the buildings and the bricks and just the doors of everything. And I just really appreciate it.
It is amazing because, like, to think about it, like, fucking our species, not to get too deep, we fucking came on this planet with fucking naked with a fucking rock and a stick, and that's all we had. And now we have, like, 80-story buildings and shit.
Yeah. And the people who create them and had it, the buildings.
I think it's good to be appreciative of things like that because everyone is like, there's so much negativity and like people's attitudes. Not just young people, not old people, but like people don't appreciate anything. They don't notice anything, and they're not amazed by anything. No one's amazed by anything.
That's not true. I think.
Yeah, I shouldn't say no one. That's too general.
I feel like there are people who appreciate buildings and.
Nah, man, everyone's a bunch of fucking assholes who fucking man.
I don't.
No, that's just L.A. No, I like people.
It's people who are passionate about it. Obviously, the people that are part of creating and setting up, and people who work in the industry who work on sets. Like, they give a shit of how things look, and they want to.
Yeah, that's true.
Make people's eyes sort of pop and be like, "Wow, this looks amazing!" Like.
Yeah, no, there's people who appreciate aesthetics and labor and the human journey.
Yeah, that's interesting. We just swirled around that conversation.
Well, is there anything else we should cover about Lotte and Sammy while you're here? Any other memories or things you wanted to talk about?
I know I saw her yesterday. Said goodbye because we're leaving on Thursday, and yeah, I saw her on Monday also. So it was nice spending time with her.
Yeah, we got to figure out the 100th birthday.
I know, we were thinking about that.
It's gonna come around before you know it.
Hoping.
Yeah,
for sure, hoping.
What should we do? Vegas?
I don't know if she could travel that long, or obviously she's not going to go on a plane at this time.
We wouldn't have to get her on a plane.
It's a long car ride. It's a long car ride for
Maybe
her.
We can do something more.
Maybe they could do like a little party within the complex, like rent a room, maybe have some like a DJ or.
Nah, we're gonna get her to Vegas. We'll get her a fucking special car, what about like a limo?
Or since she likes
a limo that has like a wheelchair ramp in it.
Since she likes casinos, there's one that's fairly close. Maybe we could rent a room, like a. Do they have like a little?
Yeah, I
dinner?
still think we need limo with wheelchair ramp. This is for me.
Yeah.
I just want to place a bet on the Mets and leave town. I don't need to be in Vegas. It's too much. Two nights in Vegas and I'm done.
I haven't been there in a while, so.
It gets cold there at night.
Colder? Oh my God.
At night in Vegas, in the desert. Anyway, we don't have to talk about Vegas weather and gambling, losing our money.
Yeah.
Somewhat recently, you had some sort of medical dilemma. That you want understatement of the year?
Understatement.
Calling it a dilemma?
A dilemma, however you.
I had a dilemma.
I had a dilemma
I'm
about
to edit that.
2 years ago.
Yeah, I had a dilemma.
Yeah.
I almost died.
Well, my God, I didn't go that far. So about 2 years ago, I apparently woke up in the morning and had a seizure and ended up at the hospital ER, and then found out with some machines and x-rays or whatever you want to call tests, and had a brain tumor. So then I was transferred to New York hospital.
That wasn't malignant.
No, it's benign.
But
so I found
it's a dangerous thing to have.
Yeah, but it was a tumor, but I did get through it. So thank for my parents and my husband, everyone who was there. And
you had surgery.
I did have surgery.
How much time passed from the discovery of this, until you had surgery? Because they didn't.
Oh, it was just a few. I think it was a week, maybe.
Was it that quick turnaround?
Yeah.
I don't remember being, but yeah.
Yeah, because I found out in the Jersey hospital that it was a tumor, and they had more tests when I was transferred to New York City, and then I think they did some more tests in that. And I think a week later.
As fuck. How do you deal with that? How did you? You don't even know.
Well, I was obviously heavily medicated at the time.
Well, I don't mean just at the time of the surgery. I just mean the whole ordeal, like emotionally. How do you deal with something like this?
Music.
Music.
I mean, as cliche as it sounds, music really helped me through all this. Whether after I got out of the hospital, but then again, I'm lucky because I had parents who I stayed with during the week, and they took me to the radiation after the surgery had happened. I was there with them for a while. They took care of me.
You're fine. You're pretty fine now.
I am.
Just to make that clear for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's okay.
I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. I have an MRI every few months, but overall, I'm totally fine. I wasn't cancer. Everything is fine. Like, I'm super lucky.
You just have to get periodic tests and keep it on
just
things
like
to make
check
sure
up.
everything's
Yeah.
okay. And,
yeah, but everything is okay.
Yeah.
I'm super lucky. But it was just a part of my life for,
Yeah, it's insane, and because of you, I can never complain about anything ever again.
Well, I'm fine.
Without feeling bad. Oh, so I can complain about things and not feel like I'm being a baby?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, thank you. I have your consent for that. Everybody's doing good.
Oh, yeah.
It's good that you got to see Lottie and she got to see you.
Oh, yeah.
And you're doing well, and I'm
I
happy
am
to see
doing well.
that.
Music, I'm telling you.
Yeah. What were you listening to, especially when you were, I guess, recovering from surgery, or when you even got this news and were going through this? What could you even listen to? What could you even do?
I mean, honestly, I was heavily medicated at the hospital, so I kind of remember spurts. And I remember eating Taco Bell because I fucking hated hospital food, or I was refusing to eat it or whatever. I remember eating Taco Bell. I remember listening to music. Apparently, I was walking and trying to stay alert and whatever. But I remember listening to a lot of Marvin Gaye, and I remember my dad he took a video of me getting up from ICU, the bed, and I just wanted to make sure that I still had rhythm. I was obsessed. I'm still obsessed with music and dancing because I love it.
Yeah, you want to make
and
sure
I wanted to make
still
sure
do.
that I still had rhythm because I was afraid, like, what happens if I, can't speak, or what happens, whatever.
The brain is a dangerous place to operate.
It is. It is. Short-term memory, long-term memory loss, or having it come back slowly, or just...
Yeah, you could still dance, but it would be
I wanted to
not
make
good
sure-
if your rhythm was...
Right.
You still got the moves, but your rhythm is just slightly off. That
Yeah.
would be not...
Yeah, and you want to make sure you can
not
still
ideal.
read, and you just want to make sure you can still speak, because you lose it kind of for a little.
Yeah, it's taking you some time to kind of get back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
Which is...
And still memory.
Part of the
Yeah, short-term
process.
memory still is a little off, but overall I'm doing pretty
No,
good.
you're fine. You're working. You work.
Oh, yeah.
If you're working full
Yeah.
time,
Oh, yeah.
if you're not capable of doing that, then
No,
like
agreed.
you wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be doing
But
that.
I do remember, like I keep saying, is the music when I was in the ICU and I was listening to Marvin Gaye, and I got out of the bed, and for some fucking reason, I remember this specifically. They started playing one of his songs. I can't remember what song.
It was it the one that dude sampled? Yeah, fucking Thick, the one that Robin Thicke sampled or whatever. That song.
Dance All Night, or not Dance All Night.
I don't know.
God, how bad.
I don't know.
But I remember getting up and I was like dancing, and I sat down and like, oh yeah, I still have rhythm. Because I was kind of just going back forth and like sort of getting into the rhythm,
I still got it.
I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I still hear the music. I feel like I'm still with the rhythm. I'm like, okay.
Well, besides being happy that you still had your rhythm, did this change your? I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but did it change your outlook or attitude or on life and your relationships and and even how you thought about Lottie and Sammy and just everything?
Yes, definitely. I remember when I was with my parents, because I had really not much to do between the chemo and the radiation after, which lasted recovery and just a few weeks there. I really didn't know what to do during the week because obviously I wasn't working for a few months. So I would just think and just basically wanting to like reminisce and hang out with people or talk to people who I haven't talked to in a while, and just reunite with people who I know give a shit about me.
Yeah.
Just,
reunite with people who give a shit about me.
Yeah. And I made me realize, if you haven't talked to me in like years, or there's people like, oh, I'll meet you and we'll try to meet. Oh, well, let's meet in the winter. Like, you're free this day. Or it's all bullshit. Like, if people don't follow through, I don't want to hang out.
Yeah,
with you.
you're.
Or you say, oh, what are you doing next week? Oh, I'll let you know if I'm free. And like, people repeat themselves over and over. They pretend like they may want to hang out. I don't like to surround myself by people who just say it to say it.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Maybe, does that make sense?
No, it makes it. I think that's just to maybe sum up
think
what
I
you were
said
saying
it.
is that
Right.
after going through this whole ordeal. That's a better word than dilemma.
Yeah.
Not the best word either, but it made you more aware of how you're using your time.
Right, and that's
like
how...
you the people you love and the people you enjoy being around, you're more excited and more gracious and more to spend time with them.
Right.
And the people who are not worth your time, the people who are flaky and not reliable and just not there for you. It's not
That's why that
You're
summer,
spending less time
right?
making the effort, less time being consumed by bullshit, really.
Right. That's why that summer specifically, because I was done with everything by June and good to go, and had energy and I was fine. I wanted to go to Buff State specifically, because that's where I went to college and see my college friends, and everyone all got together. And I was thinking about all my college friends who I haven't seen in years.
Yeah.
So going to Buffalo specifically is seeing my college friends who I'm still close with now. We still talk, especially to the girls. It was really important to me to see them because I thought about them every day. Maybe because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about people.
But you could have thought about other people. You thought about them for a reason.
I'm going to get yelled at. But I did. Of course, I thought about my family and my husband, of course. But there was part of me that was like, I don't know, maybe it was my brain. Like I was really wanting to see my
I don't think
friends.
there's anything wrong. That's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Does it?
You're saying it like it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense.
No, I know.
That you wanted to see old friends. That's basically what you're saying. That's it.
I know.
But you're okay now.
Oh, yeah.
And your things are good. And,
Yeah.
and that's good to see.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm great. Well, again, I appreciate your time, and thank you for dropping by the studio.
No problem.
Yeah, it's been fun. Did you have a good time?
I had a good time.
Was this fine? Was this fairly painless?
Painless, very painless.
Well, you have to hang out with me a little more for the rest of today, so that might be somewhat painful. But again, thank you.
No problem, brother.
And I love you very much.
Love you.
All right, talk soon.
Talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there you have it. My conversation with my sister, Samara Choit. That was fun. She said she had fun too, so I'll just assume she was telling the truth. Again, I appreciate her taking the time and love her very much, as I love and appreciate Sammy, Lotte, my mom, my dad, and my other grandparents too, of course. Anyway, before I start crying, for everything about this show, of course head to peoplewelovepodcast.com. And I think that's about all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks as always, and let's talk soon. Peace.